Hey everybody, welcome back to Freedom Algo. Happy Monday, hope you're all having an amazing day. Because we had some debacles on the other day, on Friday, I'm just double checking to make sure everything is good. So just bear with me a second here while I just make sure that everything looks good. All that stuff. Yo. All right, let's see. Good to see you, Jacoby. Good to see you, Howard. Let me know how the stream is looking on your side, everybody. How's the quality of the stream looking? I think that these settings are going to be good, but I just want to make sure that it looks good on your side. So let me know. Let me know. This was a possible channel that we were talking about earlier. Ended up not really coming into play that much. You can see that there's a few touches, and then we broke through here, but really this was just the fill of this low. So that basically all played out, created a double bottom and reversed back into this upper range. So this all looks like a pretty normal failed breakout. Basically, that's what this is looking like. We had an earlier range up here from these areas. Let me zoom in. And you can kind of see we respected these highs up here, respected these lows. We never quite made it to fill the gap in the regular session up here. So that's kind of what we're waiting for. So we'll see. All right, so let's see here. Oh, good morning, Project Panic. Good to see you, Ken. Good to see everybody in the chat. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I still think we're going to try to fill this gap up here. This is Friday's close up here, which I talked about earlier with some people. What's the level? 6425.25. I just refreshed my data when I started the stream just in case. Just because I had walked away from the computer. It didn't change anything though, so everything's good. Daryl, good to see you. All right, so let's get into our goals for the stream. Peter, all right, sweet. Yeah, this is I think actually it's gonna be better. It's not gonna, like, obviously 4K looks better, but I think that this might be better with having less delay, because with the 4K, YouTube makes the delay really long for the latency. So I think it's gonna look better doing 1080p, 60 frames per second. So that's how I'm setting it up now. Here, real quick, I'm just going to look at it on my phone real quick before I go over all the trades. So just give me a second so I can just see what it looks like. Turn the volume off so you don't hear it. It's still got the normal lag amount, which is whatever. Yeah, what's it lagging at? It's like 20 seconds or so. Yeah, it's about 20 seconds delay is what it is. I think that's just how it is. Like, there's not really much I can do about it. I was trying to look at that because people were asking me if there's something I can do about it. The challenge is, I looked into it, and here, I'll tell you what the setting is and why. So, there's a setting in here. Let me go to it. Right here. I'm looking on my other screen, but there's a setting where you can change your latency. So the stream latency is set to normal, and they have low latency and ultra low latency, but it gives you a warning that if you change to those, it lowers the quality. And I don't want the quality to get lowered. So it's like, if you try to do like immediate latency or whatever, you just run the risk of having a lower quality video. So I'm just not going to bother. Yeah, Matt, there actually are some second entries today. They just, but today was like watching paint dry. Let's not even sugarcoat it. If you measure the amount of bars from where the market opened in the overnight to now, there's only 164 bars, which is really low for, like, way below normal. If you go from the open, which is basically right here, we've only had 117 bars, which is way less than normal. Like, so we just have a low low volume right now. It makes sense. It's August 11th. This is like a lot of people go on vacation right now. Like mid-August tends to be one of the slowest times of the year because everybody's going on vacation before the school year starts and everything. Most places, the school year doesn't start for another couple of weeks. Like here, it starts the day after Labor Day. So that's just the way it is. But yeah, anyway, I'll talk about the trades. We'll get into it. Let's get our stream goals going. We got 13 likes right now. We are going to go for 50. 50 likes today is the goal. And we're going to go for 11 subscribers. We're going to try to get to 5370. So that's our goals. I'm not going to be able to stream as long because I'm traveling this week. So I got to leave later on to go and start my drive. And so basically, I'm going to be traveling this week. So I'll be streaming today. It won't be as long as usual. Tomorrow, I will also be streaming, but it's not going to be long. Wednesday, there will be no stream. And then Thursday, we'll be back to normal. Thursday, we'll be back to normal. And then Thursday this week is when we have the call with the paid community instead of Wednesday because I'm traveling on Wednesday. So we have a Zoom call on Thursday with the paid community. And then Friday will be a normal stream as well. And so if you want to check all that out, it's in the link tree. You can see it here. I updated it on the calendar. So you'll see here, normal streams, but on Wednesday there won't be a stream. I will be looking at the market in the morning and still like posting updates and whatnot, most likely for the paid community. I just won't be doing a stream recap type of thing. So there we go. That's the setup right now. If you want to learn everything, it's all in here. I got some new things going on. One thing I wanted to real quick bring up, I did update the course and I created this new video, how best to use the course. This is a pretty sweet video, really important, and it's right in the beginning now. So if you haven't watched this yet and you're in the paid community, go watch this because it has a lot of the exciting updates that just came out. So I just launched a bunch of new stuff. I also explain it in one of these threads right here. This one with Tupac dancing. So in there, you can get some info. And this is where you can learn my entire system, everything I do. So everybody check it out. And let's go through the trades. There's not a lot, so we're just going to hopefully get some good questions today because there's not a lot to cover. So basically, we had this range this morning. There's an uptrend here, gets a close outside new high, so that played out. Downtrend, close outside, move to a new low, so this played out. This one didn't get a new low till later, but that was also just a correction trend. Then we get an uptrend here, close outside new high, and there's also a first entry short, second entry short right here. So if you were trading pre-market, I was not here at this moment. This is at 5:21 a.m. But if you were here, you could have taken that short. Again, I was sleeping. It's a little risky though because it's not actually off the highs. The only reason I really like it is because if you draw this line here, like this, we rejected that level, and then it's basically a retest of that level. So there's a couple of reasons to like it, but it's not off the highs, so it's not perfect, but it's there. It kind of then grinds down. We get a bounce off the low, but no signal bar, and it's also kind of a tight little channel down there, so I think you got to be careful taking along there anyway. And it's just a double bottom. It's not a triple test. Then we come up and we get a first entry, second entry short. This is the only trade I took today, and it's a more advanced trade. Basically, you have this up channel, you get a close outside, new high, and then you get a second leg to a new high. So this up channel right here has played out. Because this isn't the most convincing close outside anyway, new high. And even if you drew this wider, it doesn't really matter. Like if you drew this like this, let's say, this is still a close outside, new high. But I didn't draw it like that. I had it drawn like this. Close outside, new high, second leg to a new high, and it's also a first entry, second entry short. It also is rejecting this level where we had some rejection earlier, and it creates this really perfectly bullish bar that you can enter on the engulfing bar because this one breaks up and then comes down. So you could enter this one tick below the engulfing bar and just ride this back to the EMA. And if you measure it, you enter it basically right here. You have just enough room to ride it back to the EMA to get your scalp. Same thing over here. The reason I like this short is if you look at how far you are from the EMA, You got so much room. It's probably going to come back and at least test the EMA, even if it tries to make a leg up. So I like those kind of like mean reversion style scalps. Even if you entered this one after it closed, which I think if you enter this after it closes, it's a little risky because when that pushes back up like that, it just starts to look like not the best signal bar. It still qualifies, but it doesn't really, it just makes it a little dicey right there. So at that point, it still would have worked, I think. You would have entered here. Yeah, you would have been fine. But you would have had to go through the EMA there, which you're not that worried about the EMA on a range day, but still, it's a factor. And then it gives you a lower high, but the way that that closed and everything closing here and starting to look sideways, I don't think you want to take the lower high there. I just think it's too risky. It just starting to look too sideways, and it keeps grinding up above this EMA here. So it's kind of looking like, hey, maybe we're going to form a little up channel. It didn't end up happening, but you have, when it did that there, you have to be aware of the possibility that it was kind of looking like it might form an uptrend when it came up. If this finished really bearish, then maybe you take that as a lower high, but it just didn't really give us a good one. It comes down and gives us a triple test, and again, we don't get a good signal bar, so you can't take it. I really wanted to go long here, but we just didn't get a good signal bar, so I had to stay out. Then we come up, we get a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. You get this one was nice. It's kind of a failed breakout of this level right here. And it's also a second entry short. So this channel gets a close outside and new high all at once right here. So it's a second entry short, close outside, new high. It would have been nice to get a lower high, but you don't get a setup for one. And sorry, my trend line moved on me here a little bit. But I like that one, and I don't think, you don't have a ton of room to the EMA there, but you got almost enough to really get your scalp, and it's probably going to, again, it's sideways here. You're probably going to go towards the lows, most likely in a situation like this, but you're at least going to get your scalp filled in a spot like this most of the time. It's not perfect. I didn't take this trade because it gapped over. So this one, it opened and immediately dumped down, so it just didn't really give me a trade there, unfortunately. There wasn't a way to get filled there. And even if you couldn't really enter it on a limit order either because it just kind of went down. So then it comes back, and then maybe some of you could have entered that on a limit order. It didn't work for me to get in there. And at this point, it's moved too far to enter one. All right, anyway, it comes up, makes one more leg up. Then it starts to come back. Then it comes up again. Now, this was a little interesting little trap. This thing breaks down. It gives you a close outside new low and then an equal low with a really bullish bar. But this printed in like 2 seconds. This like 3 bars in a row. It just kind of wrecked all the shorts and then went all the way up. And then it rejects again. There's really no setups in there. It just kind of comes down. I don't know why some of my trend lines moved on me after I refreshed. All right, then this came down. And we get a close outside of this little channel. New low. I don't think you want to take this second entry long, though, even though it is a close outside and a new low there and a second entry. I just think it's too risky. You're not off the lows of the range yet. It's kind of sideways in there. It's, you know, you only ticked to 1 tick down. I just don't think it's worth it. And I think it would have worked for a scalp, but I don't think it's a good trade. So I'm not going to mark it. I measured this leg down and then measured it from here. We ended up in consolidation here for a little while. And then we broke down. Now, we talked about this as a possible down channel. I don't think it's the most reliable down channel, but after we came back and rejected a few times, I drew it out just in case. I don't think that it's really in play. I think ultimately what we had here was move down, and then it consolidated and gave us one more leg down, because you can see it's a perfect measured move. If you measure this leg and then measure this leg, it's a perfect measured move to the tick. And it even comes back and tests it one more time right here. So when this finally broke out the bottom of the range, we eventually did a grind all the way back down to an equal low there to try to make a new low. So you could treat that like a new low has been made. And this is all a failed breakout. We come back into the range, and now we're going up again. So it's tough to say, if we zoom out, whether or not this range low is gonna become our actual range low, because you can see it trying to grind out the bottom again. So if it doesn't try to at least come up towards this midline, then I'm gonna start to move this down and think that our range lows are actually down here. So for now, I'm going to leave it where it is, but just be aware of that possibility that like the range low is actually lower. And that's what we have to look at. All right, so let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. So now we're coming up here. I want to draw some resistance. This level looks like it might be a possible resistance. It actually lines up with this consolidation zone. So we'll see what happens here. All right. And again, there's not very many trades. There's 3. 1 is pre-market, 2 during the regular. That's it. That's the only trades that I see that are actually valid so far today. I don't see anything else that's developed over here. You maybe could argue for the double bottom here to take that, but I just think that's so risky. It's not even a triple test. I don't think that you can take that with confidence in any way, shape, or form. You could argue, yeah, no, you can't even argue that. I'm not even gonna get you into trouble. In here, this is all sideways and tight. Like, you don't want to take any second entries there. There is a higher low here after this little mini failed break, but I just think that's too risky. So just nothing good there. Why do triple test entries feel a little bit like picking tops and bottoms? Because you technically are picking a top or bottom when you're doing it. However, unless you're taking a triple test in a spot where it's a pullback. But in a range, when you're taking a triple test, you are picking a top or bottom. However, you're doing it in a way where you have confirmations, right? So let me go over here and show you, for example. Like this one right here is a good example. This one would be nice because from this high, it's a pullback, first entry, pullback, second entry long. If you got a nice bullish bar there, then this would have been a second entry long after playing the downtrend rules and then taking it off as support. So you're not really just randomly picking a bottom there. Even though it's a triple test, you're not just taking it for only that reason. You're taking it because the short-term trend line rules have played out. So there's reasons to take that. Like, it's not just picking a random top or bottom off a level. Like, we're not like setting a limit order and just taking it. We're making sure that there's some confirmation, like trend line rules have played out. So for example, if this was an actual downtrend, which here I played this like this, close outside, new low. But if this was an actual down channel like this, kind of like this one, how this one was a grind down, I think you have to be careful because you don't want to just take it off the low if the downtrend is still in play. So there's a lot of stuff there to consider, but it will feel like that because when you're playing range rules, you kind of are picking tops and bottoms of a range. So like when you're trading the range, you're taking longs off of the lows and shorts off the highs. So you are picking the top and the bottom, right? It's kind of like when you're trading off a trend, right? When you're trading off the trend and you're buying off of the lows in an uptrend, you're still picking the bottoms. They're just kind of on an angle, you know? So it's a little bit like that. However, we're not just picking a random top or bottom. Like that's also why something like this, it's a little dicier when it's a failed breakout. You really are picking the top on a failed breakout if you don't wait for a lower high confirmation. Because you don't, the triple test though is confirmation that we're going back in it. But here you see this? This was a triple test right here that you don't take short because even though the signal bar looks like it might qualify, the up channel's in play. So you don't just pick a top at a spot that looks relevant. You wait for the confirmation. So that's kind of what I meant there. So hopefully that all makes sense and clears it up. All right, let's see. Yes, I only trade the ES, Kamau. I only trade the ES. YM got lower volume than the ES. That's the problem. So you can trade YM if you want, but it does have lower volume than the ES. Like it's lower volume. It's gonna be slower. It's lower volume and lower volatility than the ES. So I don't like it personally. So I don't trade it. But I'm a scalper. So it all depends on what your strategy is and how you trade. This is looking kind of interesting right here. What I would want to do here is maybe measure 2 legs. possible 2 legs here. We can drag this over, something like that. Looks like we might make 2 legs up. And what I want to see here is, can we find our way up? We have this high up here that we need to be aware of from those levels, just to see if that finds some resistance. But I think we're really trying to go fill this gap up here. That's what we've been waiting for all day. So if you're in the stream, everybody, please hit that like button. We're trying to get the stream up to 50 likes today, and we've only got 16. We are slacking. There's 31 of you in here, so hit that like button. We're trying to get the stream out to more people. And definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And let me know, how's your Monday going, everybody? Everybody that just popped in here, how are you doing? How's this Monday treating you? If you're wondering what music we're listening to here, whoever unliked, come on, fam. Why are you doing that? We're listening to my music. I have the quality turned down on the video, but it's me, Nick Bannock. So we're listening to my music on here. If you want to learn more about what we do, the link tree is in the description and in the chat. We have a free trading Discord, Instagram, TikTok. If you go to our channel, go to my channel here, go to videos. You can find a Ninja Trader setup guide. You can also find the full course video. It's about 4 hours long. This is a full free trading course. Really good stuff. So that's in there. It's actual sections from my paid course. And for my paid program, it's all in here. It's only $99 a month to join, and it's everything that you need to trade this exact strategy. You can also do $9.99 for the year, so you get 2 months free if you do the year. So that's a pretty cool thing. And also, if you do the year, you unlock the Freedom Collective. So the Freedom Collective is for people who've been in for over 90 days. Or if you upgrade for a year to the yearly, you just immediately get access to this. And this gives you access to an extra call with me each month. And it also is another Discord channel and some other stuff. And then you can see the calls that we do each week are recorded and put in here. And then my full trading course is in here, so you can check this all out. This was a new video that I just added to the course. I always add new things to the course. This is a new video I just did because I got some really cool new features that I just updated into the community. And then also, as we trade throughout the day, throughout the session, you can see here, we have our trading session all in here. You can see the same chart so that you can follow along in real time and learn. And then what you can also do is you get access to the premium section of Discord when you're a member. And we have chat in there the entire trading session before we start the stream. So there's a lot of discussion happening there. Here, I'll just show you. I'm not going to zoom all the way in, but you'll see here, like throughout the session, there's a whole entire stream of stuff going on, discussion that we're having in here. You can see in here, like all this, we're talking throughout the whole session. People are posting charts. We're having some good gifts going on. It's a good time. It's a really good time. And it helps us to connect and just be able to chat about things in real time. So like, I think that's probably one of the more valuable aspects of all this, is being able to have verification of things and seeing, okay, did Nick have a close outside on his trend line? Did he see a second entry? That sort of stuff. Let me know what you think. And Matt, no, I have not. I don't really watch them anymore. So why? What's going on? Let me know what's going on. Yeah, I don't really watch them anymore. I just do my own thing these days because I've kind of learned my own way of looking at the price action. So by just doing my own thing now and looking at it my way, I think it's just easier. So yeah, I don't really watch them anymore. Is something going on? I have gotten a few messages from people saying like that there's been some like stuff about Discords or negative talk about Discords or something like that. Let me know if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, I heard some stuff about like saying like no to Discord. So I think I checked out like one of the videos, I think, because someone had asked me from my paid community about it. So I checked out like 1 or 2 of them. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw like, you know, some stuff about Discord, but I don't know. I don't know if anything else has happened. Yeah. What specifically, Matt? What specifically is the criticism? So what is the rant or the criticism? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. Him and I did have an email correspondence pretty recently because way back before, I was telling somebody this a long time ago, way back before I launched, actually before I launched any of my paid community and my course and everything, before I launched it, I chatted with Mac over email about like, hey, I'm planning on launching. I sent him like, hey, this is my YouTube channel. I've been doing some daily chart reviews based on price action. I'm planning to launch a course, yada yada. And I told him like, based on your strategy and all that, the strategy that I've learned from you, there's some modifications and stuff that I do, but I chatted with him about all that, and basically he was like, yeah, that's awesome, and he gave me his blessing. He's like, as long as you always like, you know, credit back to like where you learned it from, which is what I do. Like, and that's right in there. You know, you can see even here where it says right on here, inspired by Mac from Patch Trading, because that's who I'm inspired by, and I always have that written right in there. And so basically, yeah, we chatted about it. Yeah, we chatted about that. And then recently recently we chatted again because I'm like, "Oh yeah, like, you know, like I have all this stuff in there and all that." So, I don't think it's directed at like me or anything. I don't believe that any of that stuff's directed at me because it sounds like the criticisms that he's been having are people that reach out to him because they're having problems from some other community. And I will say there are other traders that have discords and stuff that teach a strategy similar, but they have a way larger audience than me. Like, you know, I'm pretty small channel still. So I doubt there's really anybody who's gone through my stuff and then went to his thing and started to be like, oh, I'm having problems and all that. I don't think any of that's really directed towards me. I think it's probably from people who modify the strategy a lot in a way that doesn't work. And we see that kind of a lot, right? Like we see people come into the chat sometimes on my live streams and say like, oh, you know, I'm going for 8 ticks or I'm doing this, you know, that sort of thing. But yeah, like I see people saying that. So it might be, who knows? It might be directed at me. It might be about TW or somebody else. But I will say this, like I know that at some point I think like there was a moment where, you know, he reached out or he commented on one of my videos and I think he forgot about the conversation that we had way back in like October. So I reached out to Mac directly and was like, "Hey man, like, you know, I don't know if you remember, but we did talk about this." And I like shared, like I went back and I copied the original email where he had replied to me. And I'm like, "We did talk about everything that I'm doing and you gave me your blessing and here it is." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, like thanks for reaching out." It just, when I first looked, I didn't see the that it was obvious or whatever that you were talking about that you learned from our stuff or like whatever. And then I'm like, "No, it's right here." And I sent him some screenshots of it all. And that was that. So I think some of it, you know, might just be that he was maybe annoyed that other people are out there teaching the strategy. I'm not sure why. But the other thing though about the discords and stuff, I doubt that's from people from our community. Because I think what happens is, I think people join a different community. Maybe they join the Al Brooks one or a TW or some other one. And then maybe like those guys do trade differently. Like they use a lot more of like the counting method is a little different when you're using the lower highs and higher lows as your second entries. So there is that. Like the Al Brooks counting method's actually different. So I do think that that might be part of it. And what I would say here is what what I would say here is that I think overall, who knows? Who knows like why it became a problem or why he's been upset or whatever. I can tell you straight up though, like I have been nothing but respectful and like and transparent with him over emails and all that stuff. So my guess is that people are reaching out to him who come from one of the communities and are having problems, and maybe they're going for too many ticks or they're doing it in a different way. I know some of these other communities go for like 8 ticks or more, and that can cause problems with the strategy. So who knows? Maybe he was getting enough people reaching out to him and complaining that they're not profitable following the thing, and he was getting frustrated. That's all I can think of. But yeah. Let me see. I missed a bunch of comments, so let me just see. Hold on one second. Let me go. I can tell you straight up though, like I have the email receipts, like straight up. Like I have all the email receipts. Like I have all my bases is covered. Like it's not so like there's nothing like weird going on here. So I'm not sure where the problem came from. The way I see it, when someone teaches a strategy, like if you go learn a strategy anywhere, there's no reason that like you shouldn't be able to then teach the strategy if you find a different way to do it, like some slight modifications. If you find some different ways to actually present the material, different like selling propositions that help other people learn better, I think it's a good thing, not a bad thing. I think, you know, if I kind of, and I mean, in a way, that's similar to what Mac did, right? Like he learned originally through Al Brooks, and then he modified the strategy and then started teaching it. You know, nobody needs to reinvent the wheel, but we can improve upon the wheel, right? That's the way I look at it. All right. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, Claire, I'm not sure about that. Like, the people saying it's not possible to do live. Yeah, I have no idea. No idea. Someone has a Discord. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, making any sort of claim about, oh, if someone has a Discord, blah blah blah. It's like, what? That just doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't really understand the argument. That's like saying that because he has forums that Discord is basically just a more modern version of an online forum, right? And I know I've heard some criticism about like, oh, online forums and Discords. It's like, well, dude, you also have those, or you have an online forum. So it's that argument doesn't even make sense. That to me would be like a cognitive dissonance. All right. If someone is not, yeah, I agree with you, Matt. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm not really sure where that all came from. Yeah, Matt, I'm not really sure where it all came from and whatnot. Like, and look, I don't want to get into any like stuff here. Like, to be fair, like I've said before, regardless of what he's said in his stuff, I've got nothing but respect for Mac and learning his strategy. So even if he's criticizing me or anybody else, I'm not like upset about it, because I know that what I'm doing is adding a ton of value to a lot of people. And so, because you could say just the same, right? Like, I get people who join my paid community saying like they've been studying. Like, I get people who join my community and they basically say they've been studying the strategy for a long time and it's just not clicking for them. And then they join my community and it starts to click for them extremely quickly. So I know that like the way that I teach it is different. So that's the way I look at it, you know? That's the way I look at it. It's like anybody, there's nothing proprietary here that no one's allowed to talk about, you know? That would be like if Al Brooks told people that you can't use his books that he wrote and you can't teach any of the methods. It just doesn't make sense. Or if you go and you look at like some of the more controversial figures, like Like, not that I'm a fan of him, but like, if you think about like the ICT person, like that guy went out and taught his strategy, right? And then there's other people that teach the same sort of methods, but their own flavor of it and their own tweaks and their own different ways of doing certain aspects of it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It just doesn't really make sense to like argue that other people shouldn't teach the methods or whatever, or shouldn't use Discord as a way to teach. That stuff doesn't make sense to me. Having a real-time community that is like, it's not, and that's the other thing too, it's not copy trading, right? Like, if what I was doing was like, my Discord was like me copy trading everything, and then people were just taking losses because of it, then sure, that would be a fair criticism. But that would literally just mean that I'm doing bad trading and giving bad signals. But I don't do signals. That's not how it works. I just use Discord as a teaching methodology for real-time feedback, which I think is actually very useful. So I don't really know. But, you know, like, everybody's going to have different opinions on different things. And what worked for one person doesn't mean that that's what works for every other person in their learning, right? Like, so it's the same thing of anything else, right? Like, if you buy a book that teaches something and you try to learn through some book and it just doesn't work for you, but you still think there's value in it, and then you go and you find someone else who's teaching a similar concept in a different way, and then that is what clicks for you, that's all the better, right? Yeah, there's the gap fill right there. Well, Claire, I think that some of it is about me, but I don't think all of it is. So I don't think it's like I think some of the complaints about, like people coming from Discords and they learn the methodology the wrong way and they're going for 8 ticks and all this stuff, that's not about me, because I don't tell anybody that they should always go for 8 ticks. That's definitely not about me. Like, I base mine on the ATR. Like, right now, I'm going for 4 ticks. So that's definitely not from me where that would be coming from. Sheesh, I need to draw this trend line better. This is clearly just like a runaway move to the upside. So it might be a close outside right there and a move to a new high. But I'm going to draw a slightly wider channel just in case, because it's like not even wide. I'm also going to draw some measured legs here in a second, because originally I was thinking from the low, but now I'm just going to draw it like this. You can probably draw, yeah, I mean, that's clearly made its measured legs. There we go. We're breaking out of the top side here. We just broke through that overnight high. But yeah, sorry, I got distracted there. But I know that the stuff about like traders reaching out and they learned some method from somebody else and yada yada, that is not likely from my community. But I do think that other people teaching the stuff, or like him saying, oh, there's copycats teaching our methods, that sort of thing, that would be probably directed towards me. And I don't know, man. Like, I feel like you should be happy and flattered that there's other people trying to improve upon the system. You know what I'm saying? So that one I would say probably is. But again, I got the receipts. Like, I got all the receipts. So I know that I've done everything the right way. I guess cats, you know, hey, and everybody, if you're here, please give the stream a like. Please give the stream a like and give the channel a subscribe. We're looking to get to 50 likes today for our stream goal. I don't think we're going to get there before I got to stop. I don't have a ton more time, but what I will do, we're going to watch this price action, see if we get anything out of this. But yeah. Howard, I know. It's funny because I'm not trying, you know, I'm just doing my thing out here, trying to, you know, I'm just doing my thing, so I have no idea. I fully agree with that, Project Panic. Like, there's no reason, like in trading, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel either. It's like if you find a system that works, the reason I created everything I did, I'll just be real with all of you here. Originally, and I've talked about this before, I used to do all kinds of different stuff. Like I was creating bots, I was doing all these different things, and I traded a whole different methodology. And over time, I eventually learned how to trade with, over time, I learned how to trade with price action. It was great. Like it's been great. And once I really like fully committed to it and it started to work for me, I was like, man, it took me a long time to actually learn this and it didn't click the first time. So when I first started learning the PATS strategy, I abandoned it multiple times and went back to other methods of trading because I just didn't think it worked. And the reason I thought that is because I was trying to go through all the materials. I had read the PDF multiple times. I'd gone through all the videos. I'd watched the videos and it just wasn't clicking for me. I was trying to trade it live. It just wasn't clicking for me. Eventually it somehow did. And what I realized was that there were certain concepts that just, had they been explained a little bit differently, had I understood things a little bit differently, it would have clicked for me way sooner. So then I was like, you know what? I can teach this in a way that I think makes this click for people sooner because I have a lot of experience teaching things. And the reason I have that is because before I was in trading, I ran an internet B2B lead generation advertising agency that did B2B lead generation. And I trained a lot of people on how to do it. So I was a very effective teacher. I knew that because I had trained a bunch of people from zero experience to being like really good at what they did. And I ran a company and I sold it. So I had and before I even ran that company, I was a VP at another company and I had trained up an entire team and I trained a bunch of people from scratch. I created an entire methodology for teaching people. So I knew that I was an effective teacher of concepts. And I was like, I knew that I could teach people how to trade the system effectively in a way that won't take many years to learn. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to create that, and that's what I created. And I think that's a good thing. I don't think that that should be criticized. I think that should be like honored, and people should be happy about that. So I don't really know where that saltiness came from. Again, I don't want to get into like a bunch of drama. I just want to be clear with like how I see it. But yeah, I will say this to the people that are thinking like, I think a little bit of it is probably directed towards me, and I think some of it is also directed at other people, and that's just what it is. You know, that's what it is. Howard, I got no idea what you're talking about. Howard. Mark, no, I don't. Yeah, I've looked at order flow trading. Yes, I have looked at it and I've tried it before. I did the whole thing with the cumulative volume delta and like having order flow on my chart and all that, and I didn't like it. I didn't find it to be. I honestly, I don't find it to be that useful because like everything that I need to know is already in the candlesticks themselves on tick charts. So it didn't give me any new information. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that whole thing with like why I criticize the NQ is just because it literally gets people to learn about trading the ES and learn about other methods of trading because all these people are following like super obscure or super odd ways of trading that I don't know are the most effective. So the whole point of doing that is just to get eyeballs in front of the content so that people can have a new perspective. And I'll tell you straight up, I get DMs from people regularly that are like, hey, after I saw your stuff about like the NQ, I started trading the ES and my results are way better now. So it's doing its job. It's getting awareness out there to people. So so that's awesome. Classic. I know. Howard sent me that, like, because obviously Howard created the thumbnail and did the editing and stuff. When he sent me that, I just was like this. Oh, here we go. Here we go. That's my initial reaction. Too good. There's not really a lot of good price action to cover here. This is a failed breakout, but I don't think... I will say this, like, obviously I drew this trend as a possibility. This clearly is a close outside, move to a new high, and then another thing here. This is a failed breakout. I just think it's risky to take it, though. I think it's risky there. Here, I will show you guys this, actually. I'm not going to show... Right now, I'm not going to, like, go in and do the show emails and do all that. I have them if necessary. If, like, more drama ever comes out, I got the receipts. But I will show you this. Let me pull it up. There was something that did happen here. And this is how I know. This is how I know some of the criticism became directed at me. And this is why the email thread reopened recently that I'm talking about. We go to my videos. Here. Videos. We go to this video. Here. You can see who commented on my video right here. So this is it. This is where it came up. And so right here, this was only 2 weeks ago. So this came up. And I was confused when I first saw this, but I left it on here. I didn't delete the comment. I left it on here just to be transparent. And you can see this. And I said, like, hey, I'm going to respond to our email threads after I reply here. Not sure if you see it, but have it right in my YouTube bio, my website, Inspired. You know, I talk about it on my live streams. I also have links to your site, you know, all this stuff. And then, you know, I said we did talk on email before I launched all this, because I have emails from way back in October before I launched my paid community. And then I responded to this email and he replied, and we had email correspondence after this. So there you go. Just wanted to share that with everybody so that you guys can all see, like, clearly, like, you know, there's nothing to hide here. It's all right there. So that's how I know that there's probably a little bit of this that is directed towards me. I don't think all of it or anything, but I think a little bit of it is. I think that probably more of it has to do with people coming from other people who teach it in a different way. I had somebody last week that brought up a few different people that teach the methodology differently, and they go for different risk-reward targets and all this other stuff. So, and they've been around longer than me with the method, or with teaching it, so probably more that. There you go. Let me know in chat if you have any questions on that or what you think. Curious to hear everyone's thoughts on it. I'll probably got to wrap up the stream here soon. We'll see. We get the failed breakout here. Could you take this? You could. I just think it's risky. I'll mark it, but it is risky. It's way risky because this is clearly picking a top on a failed breakout. There is this candle here that creates an equal high, but it just moved too far. I just don't like the lower high. So yeah. Yeah, Zulus, everything is derivative, of course. You know, like, yeah, everything that is great is derivative over time. Like, that's just the way it works. What do you think? Does anybody have any feedback on that? I'm reluctant to show the emails, but I do have them. I don't want to show them because I don't want people to see my actual email address. So I would have to like block my, or like, I don't know how to explain it. I'd have to like cover my email address or whatever, because I don't want to get a bunch of spammers that start hitting me up in my regular email address. Like if you go to my YouTube channel, the email address that's on there is like not the email address that I actually use, because I get hit up by spammers all the time in that one. But I don't want, I'd have to, yeah. Same thing with him. I don't want to expose his email address either, because I don't know if that's supposed to be exposed. Nah, Howard, I'm not gonna do it, because I don't want to expose people's email addresses. I don't think it's like a nice thing to do, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to expose people's email addresses. If I were gonna do it, I'd have to like, what's it called? Like, block out the actual email address. Which then, like, you know, then I'm gonna get oh, is that even real? It's like, I don't really know how to do it without that being the case. I don't think there's a way for me to, yeah, I'm looking at it now on my other screen. I don't think there's a way for me to do it unless I were to like take screenshots of it and put them together without the email address or whatever. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter though. I have it all there, and like he did thank me for replying and all that stuff, and like it was all cool, like it was fine. But then after that email correspondence, I've heard that there's been many rants, and then people asked me about them, so then I was just like, oh, well, that's lame. Considering that I had your blessing way back before I launched anything. Here, let me just see something real quick. Hold, please. Hold, please. I gotta look at something on my screen. Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. Give me a second. I'm just looking at something. I'm trying to see if it's even possible to show. There we go. All right. I think I'm doing this on the fly, fam. So give me a second here. Doing this on the fly. wasn't planning to go into any of this, but all right. Yeah, I don't, hold on one second. Could be. I mean, it could be, but I think that what Howard is talking about is that, like, it wasn't just the comment. Like, the comment came out of nowhere, and then I was just confused because of these emails, and so then, which I was like, okay, whatever. It was a long time ago, you know, October, so maybe he just, like, forgot or whatever. But let me see if I can share this. All right. So I'm trying to no, exactly, man. And see, that's the thing. Like, you never know, and like people have moments. So like I'm trying to like not I'm not upset about it really anymore. It's like I was kind of just like caught off guard. But overall, it's like, you know, yeah, anyway. That's why I'm not saying anything rude. Like, nothing. I don't have any like ill intent, any hard feelings really. Like, I'm just, you know what I'm trying to say? All right. And then there we go. Whoops. Yeah, you never know where someone's at, what they got going on. So it could be anything. I think where it went south was more so in the aftermath of it all. Like, it was fine. Like, the comment came through and then I cleared it up and I thought that it was done. But then I started hearing about, people started reaching out to me about like, hey, have you seen these rants lately and all this stuff? And I was like, oh boy, what's going on? And so that's where that came from. Okay. There's that. There's that. All right. Now, I will show this stuff in the interests of full disclosure and transparency. I was originally going to try to like not show this stuff because I just feel like, I don't know. It's not like when you have an email, I'm trying to figure out, like, when you have an email with somebody, I just don't know that, like, you really want to, like, not meant to be, like, a public thing that you then share, you know? But yeah, man, I don't know. It's like, I'm reluctant to do it just because of out of just respect for him. I just don't know that it's the right move. I was pulling it up on the other side and blanking out the email address, like, so that nobody gets spammed, but maybe it's best to just leave it. Maybe it's best to just leave it. Yeah, I agree. I just think it's best to just leave it. It's best to just leave it. I was getting it ready and I'm like, I probably shouldn't do this on stream and like right now. Like, it's just not a good idea. Not a good idea. I just think it's a bad choice. I have what I'll say is this. I have the receipts. Let me close out of these. I have the receipts of everything should it ever be necessary for me to show them, I guess. That's it. We'll leave it at that. I appreciate everybody for giving me that feedback because I was tempted But, you know, it's fine. I think, look, I think, who knows? And I think that Project Panic hit the nail on the head. You never know what someone's going through, where things are at, why somebody's upset about something, why they're taking things out on someone else. You know, and I'm not going to like clap back and turn it into a whole thing. It's just like, you know, it is what it is. Divvy. Most people voted no. And I think that they're probably right. It's probably best to not show it. It's really nothing big. It's just showing that, like, there were emails that I had way back in October where he was cool with everything, and then, and like gave me his blessing. And then, a couple weeks ago, I got that comment. So then I replied to the emails and was like, yo, what's going on here? Like, I thought that you were cool with everything. He's like, oh, thanks for replying, blah, blah, blah. Just make sure it's obvious that you did learn the strategies from us. I didn't see it at first. And then I sent him screenshots like, well, it's right here in the bios. Like, it is obvious. Like, I didn't claim that I invented the strategy from scratch or anything like that ever. And that's basically it. Like, there's not anything to it. And then I didn't get a reply after that. But then what I did see is that then there was a bunch of rants and all this other stuff that came later. That's basically the whole story. But I think that everyone's right. It's like, should it need to come out later? It could. Excuse me. Did not mean to burp in the mic. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I think the thing is, you know, I will say this. This is just like my own 2 cents. Just in general, like it sucks when like you have nothing but like respect for somebody else, and you're happy, and like you've learned a lot, and you know, I've always had nothing but respect. And it does suck then when you feel like there's stuff coming out where it's like negatively criticizing you, even though you've been nothing but respectful. It did suck a little bit to experience that recently. So I do want to let everybody know that, like, it definitely did. And I will also say, if everybody goes back and looks at the dates of things, remember a couple of weeks ago, something like, I don't know, whatever it was, when I had 2 losses in one day, they were literally the day after all that. And I think it was like I was a little bit tilted from it because I was just like, man, this is such a big bummer for me to like feel like I'm getting, you know, criticized from someone that I kind of saw as a trading mentor, you know, especially when I've done nothing but be like super respectful the whole time, and even sent a lot of business that way, you know, like I have links to all the stuff. My members have bought stuff through him. I've even before I had my course, I even bought the patch trading manual for a few friends of mine, like just as like a gift. Friends of mine who wanted to learn how to trade. I bought it for 2 people actually. I even have the receipts of that. I bought the trading manual for 2 of my friends just to like help them out in their trading journey. So a little bit of a bummer, but what are you gonna do? So there's, you know, and I was a member to his stuff for several years. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I did either, Matt. That's at the end of the day, that's all it was, you know. I didn't. And I feel the same way about TW. Like, I think TW is open about that. That's where he learned a lot of his stuff from too. There's really nothing wrong with it at all. It's just, you know, that's the way it is. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I still do. Like, I still have nothing but respect for the dude. Despite feeling like there was some stuff coming at me, I'm not gonna like say a bunch of bad things because I don't think bad things, you know, about him or what he's doing. I don't agree, obviously, with his takes on some stuff, and that makes sense, right? Like, I don't agree with like even the whole like just only ever going for 4 ticks and all that stuff. Like, I have different takes on different things, and that's okay. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like TW has ever done anything wrong. I think all of us are good traders. We just have we all have a different flavor, and I think that's totally fine. You know, the way I look at it. Like, from everything I've seen, TW seems like a great trader. I just don't resonate that much with the methodology of hanging out all day and waiting for, like, you know, just that, like, one setup. Like, I always find setups early in the morning, and then I'm just good on taking those and being done. I mean, today I only took one trade because there really has been barely any setups today, which is kind of rare. So, you know, we all have different styles. There's things that I don't agree with from TW. There's things I don't agree with from Mac. And that's perfectly normal. That's perfectly normal. So anyway, I went on for way too long about that, but that's literally me just being totally open about it. All right, but I do need to wrap up though, because I got to travel today. So let's see. Any final things? Any final questions? Anything like that? I'm going to definitely tell everybody in my paid community to watch this one because it's important. I know. The markets get slow and you got Nick over here. You get Nick over here pouring his heart out. But, dude, I just wanted to be totally transparent about it. Like, I don't want to, like, at first, I was reluctant to even say anything because I don't want to, like, seem like I'm criticizing or I'm, like, I really don't, because I don't really have, like, much criticism there. It's more just, like, if anything, it was more of a bummer for me than anything else, hearing some of that stuff at first. But, like, again, I think only a small amount of it is directed at me, and that's the way it is. But I think that most of it is directed at other people over time, because my paid community is pretty small. Like, it's not like we're huge. I mean, you can see if you just even go to my community right now, what do we have? 48 members, and I'm one of them. So we really have 47 members. So it's not like it's outside of me. So it's not like we're huge and that we have all these people reaching out. Like, if anybody has reached out from my community to him, it would be like a small amount of them, you know? So yeah, anyway. But there you go. But yeah, market's slow right now. It's just what it is. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit of a better day for the markets. We do. We got big hearts. You know what? Like, we're small but mighty is the way I look at it. That's how I look at myself too. Small but mighty. Classic. No, it's all love, everybody. It's all good. And you know, honestly, it's like I've said, like, nothing but gratitude. And yeah, you know, like, there's room for everybody to teach different methods and different flavors of things. And I think that there's even benefits from learning from more than one person to some extent. You know, you might find that you try me, TW, Mac, Al Brooks. You might try everybody and see who resonates with you the best. I do think that when you start getting to too many people, then it can start to get confusing. But yeah. As the candlestick turns. I love that, Peter. That's awesome. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up here. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be checking in. I'm going to be traveling soon. I got a long, long drive ahead of me. So I appreciate everybody for being here. I'm going to send out a message to everybody in the paid community to check this one out, and just in Discord in general, because I'm going to tell them, like, we addressed some of the drama that's been going on. So I'll just tell people just to watch the whole thing, because it's kind of an ongoing episode of the drama. Thanks, everybody. I hope you all have an amazing rest of the day. Hopefully you had a good start to the week. And I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks, everybody.